Hey, I'm making this video to kind of show you guys a little bit about the process of what's happening. Um, right now, I'm working on my CNC, which I built, or rebuilt, I guess, in order to cut some plates for the printer. These plates are mostly just like the extruder mounting plate, the Z motor mounting plates, and then to the same degree, the gantry mounting plates. Um, or I guess a more extreme degree. So the gantry mounting plates, I've been trying to cut aluminum, but I've had some issues. I've figured out some things that have led to a lot better cuts, but aluminum is not quite there yet. Um, so those plates will either be aluminum or I ordered some carbon fiber. The thought behind carbon fiber is it might machine slightly easier because it's more brittle, um, and it would be lighter, which would help with the X gantry. I actually noticed that the Z gantry could have a plate on both sides, which would stiffen things up quite a lot. Actually, there's a lot of bowing that you can't visually see, but uh, you can see with how tight the plates are. Anyway, but in order to do that, I have to move the power supply layer, which I'll probably show a picture of that just so that you can understand. Um, but I'm working on that plate as well. That can be an acrylic plate just to remount the power supply. I have a pretty good idea of where that's going to go, but more on that later. Things that I'm working on as far as this is my setup. I didn't have this a month ago. In fact, this entire area was closed in. No, not closed in, but like had a bunch of stuff in it a month ago. Um, Things I want to do to improve the CNC. I know this is about a 3D. This is a YouTube channel about a 3D printer, so I'll try and stay brief with the stuff about the CNC. But I think the CNC will make things a lot better. Here, I'll even get some images for you guys so you can actually see. I know the sun's going to cause a glare, so it's a little hard for me to get this in focus, but I'm going to try my best. So this is one of those plates. Oh, it actually focused pretty well. So this is the best cut CNC plate that I've had so far. This is a worse cut. The big difference between these two is cooling. You 3D printer people will understand cooling. This cut was just made after these two first ones. Now this one has a slightly deeper cut depth, which is definitely what caused the overheating. But it didn't help that it was already at temperature, right? If you do one cut, two cut, three cut, by the fourth cut, it's gonna have a lot of heat built up. So cooling is something that I would really like to add to this. I don't know how useful it'll be, but I expect it to be at least helpful. So in order to add cooling to this, I got some Plastidip, which I'm going to Plastidip this MDF just to keep it nice and protected. And then I'll put a reservoir underneath here. I'm just going to use a PC cooling pump to pump the water back up. Or the coolant, not water. No water. I got to do some research on buying coolant as well. Anyway. CNC air compressor. I got this. This was, I guess, a family friend was getting rid of it, so we got it for free, and it's just been on the side of the house for probably a year now. And I got the hoses it needs and reset it up. It works well. And it's not pressurized right now. That's why it's not blowing super hard. But that's what I used to clean up. I got this table at a yard sale. It was $5. Kind of sick. It's a nice table. It folds down. This is my stock down here. I got aluminum. I got some wood, some extrusion. Yeah, I expected this to be all the manufacture where I do the manufacturing for the kits, right? So the 18 kits, if you don't know, I've purchased 18 kits as like beta tester kits. Please reach out if you'd like one of those. I think I have about 4 or 5 people that have said they want one, and I got some like 2 or 3 YouTube connections that I want to make or have already made that want a kit. I know Tommy Houghton's a big one. Hearts out to you, Tommy. I love you. But yeah, so it's going all right. I 3D printed this cooling shroud, which I will probably post the video of this printing because it's not a bad print. If people were asking about like adhesion issues, this printed on the face here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Printed on the face, and it's a little bit of plastic, 3 walls, 3 perimeters. But it's actually too big, so I can't even use it. These plates are great. I'm gonna reset up. These are plates for the dual Z mount. I already showed them. This is the plate for an extruder. I'm going to install these plates. I'll probably even include that in this video, me installing these plates, just so you can see like the before and after, right? These plates are theoretically cheap, right? So like this acrylic sheet, slightly bigger than this acrylic sheet, cost me like $36 on Home Depot. So if you do the math, it works out to like maybe $2 a plate, right? So $2 extra. That's a decent amount of money, and maybe I can get a better supplier. I mean, Home Depot's not a great supplier for acrylic, and this is 1/4 inch acrylic, which is arguably too thick. Or yeah, it's, you know, I could maybe use slightly thinner acrylic and get the results I want. Especially for like the extruder mount, it doesn't need to be, you know, a quart. You could, I mean, it's brittle, so you can't really put a lot of force in, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, so that was like just a video about this CNC. I realize I have mentioned it, but I just haven't explained what it is and what it's doing. It's 16 by 16 inches, if anyone was wondering. It's actually 22 by 22, but you can only use 16 inches. This is a router that I got from Home Depot. Well, it was on sale, actually. I didn't buy it new, but well, I did buy it new, but it was half off. And I used this along with some carbide bits to cut my acrylic. These were the aluminum cuts that were just not. This is a baseboard, basically just like a waste material. This was my first acrylic cuts. Not great. I don't know if you'll be able to see that from here. Not too great. And this is my aluminum cuts, and you can see all of them cut well, and then not so well very quickly. So I got more research to do on that, but I'll get it done. Hey guys, wanted to make this video because right after I made that last one, I got the aluminum plates cut. This is the first aluminum plates I've ever cut on my CNC. They came out all right, nothing crazy. Oops, sorry. Pretty good. That one has a slight artifact. Not bad though. Anyway, these are the power supply clamps, which is going to be a pretty big deal. This is moving to the back, which will help with weight distribution. I think one of the things that I'm most looking forward to for the beta kits is having other people to help me set up profiles and set up firmware. Like I keep reading and setting up firmware slowly by myself, but things like confirming that bed meshing is working right, or setting up pressure advance, or giving advice on that kind of stuff. Because if you're reading through Marlin, it's a lot of information all at once. Like pressure advance, I spent a whole probably like 48 hours, or like if you want to do working hours, probably like 12 to 15 hours just on pressure advance. That was what the 13-minute benchy was. It was me tuning pressure advance to actually work with the printer. So having beta testers to help me, tune those things out is the very is what I'm probably looking forward to most with getting these beta kits out. Doesn't mean I'm going to pester the beta kit testers to help me get the profile set up and stuff, but I assume that the people who want these early kits are interested in getting them running as optimally as possible, or at least to a standard that they're happy with. So, but I'm still working on cutting those CNC plates. I'm getting more stuff done every day. The CNC is switching to flood coolant. You might see an update on that at some point. I just had an old PC pump. I bought a gallon of cutting oil, and I'm going to plaster dip the whole CNC. I think the cutting oil will be thick enough, and I think the bit is small enough that we shouldn't get a lot of splash, but could be wrong. Not a machinist. I still need to go over some of the stiffness of the CNC. It's still a little too loose to be cutting aluminum. I found out that I can get pretty good cuts, and I mean, you saw them in the other video. I just need to be able to tune the settings to be pretty spot on, or else I end up with chatter and skip steps. I'm just gonna keep this one short. I think that's all I wanted to say. I saw Modbot's video on native adaptive mesh meshing and Clipper, and like those things are very impressive on the Clipper side, but Marlin never really has a bad alternative. Like when I'm reading through Marlin, there's a lot of things in Marlin that just aren't used by most printers and are there for convenience. It's kind of crazy. Someone told me that Marlin got a lot more serious when Clipper got more serious. Like when Clipper started seeing the improvements that Clipper saw in like early 2022, Marlin started picking up those improvements within a month or two of Clipper doing it. And I think that's probably a true statement. I mean, I remember Marlin when I was using it. My Swivel shipped with Marlin 1.9. That's a 3-year-old. That was a 3-year-old release 2 years ago. So Marlin definitely didn't used to have a lot of these features, and now getting them set up is something new. And Ender 3s also don't use most of Marlin's features. I mean, I'm using inductive bed probing, and that's not used on Ender 3s. I mean, auto bed leveling's not used on Ender 3s. So anyway, just talking about something. Hey guys, so this is the day that this video is releasing. I just wanted to give a quick update that's a little more recent. Some of these videos that are in this, or some of these clips that are in this video are a week or 2 weeks old. I'm still getting stuff done on the printer. I'm getting more stuff in every day. I'm only missing the LED lights, the bed heating, the bed insulation, and a couple other small parts. But I got all the main components in, but should be all good. Still looking at the end of the month, sort of, for contacting people to release these kits. In fact, if you want one of these kits, please reach out in this video. Just contact me through my email or through the comments, and I'll reach out back to you. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it'll be $150 for a kit plus shipping. I'll pay the first 10 or $20 of shipping. Not certain on how much I'll pay there, but just to help out. And then that'll get the kits out to people who want them, and then get me some funds to start fixing things even further, like developing things more. I did get the dual Z set up. I do need to print a couple more pieces before it'll actually work though, so it's just you'll see in the video. It's just set up with no lead screw. So that'll be easy. I have a few more ideas for things to improve just casually. I got the power supply changed out. I was using the old Voxelab because it is a Voxelab printer. I was using that power supply, but it's not compatible with the Ender 3 dual Z mount kit. So I just grabbed the power supply from my Ender 3 and put that on here. It also is lighter. It works better. So it was a good upgrade as well. Some people might notice or might like this is a little bit on the nerdy side, but having those two different pillars, like having your Z pillar and then having your power supply mounted vertically, you'll end up with two different resonances because you have two different volatile masses. Like one of them's the Z mount, which weighs a certain amount at a certain height, and the other one is the power supply, which weighs a certain amount at a certain height. So you'll end up with two different peaks in resonance compensation, However, the power supply is much lighter and it's much lower, so it'll probably be almost negligible as far as resonances go. Helped by the fact that we have a lower moving mass, I haven't noticed any major issues with resonances on the printer since my first designs, when there were much bigger issues causing those resonances. I have a redesigned mount for the gantry, which the point behind that is just I want to support as many hot ends as possible, and doing so requires the X gantry to be completely untouched, right? We don't want supports on the top, bottom, or front of that gantry because we want any gantry to be compatible. Like Ender 3 gantry should be compatible. I don't know. I'm spacing on printers right now, but like a Box Lab should be compatible. Like it doesn't matter what the gantry looks like; it should fit the bar, the Y gantry. I should use the correct terms. We want any X gantry, the one that the hot end mounts to fit any Y gantry, what the hot end rides on. So there you go. Came up with an mount for that. Gonna print it and then see how that goes. But I'm at the end of finalizing all my designs, so I just need to finalize wiring, finalize the gantry, as we talked about. There's one more iteration I want to do on the bed, which I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to do that. Just it's more to save material than it is to improve bed stiffness. It might improve bed stiffness slightly, but I'm using a lot of material right now for no reason. Like I'm using one part where I should use two. Big deal. But yeah, we're looking at getting things done, right? Like we're at the end of the end of development phase as far as making tweaks to the printer constantly. I am going to give a quick update on some external things other than the printer. This video is kind of completely sidetracked. I mean, most of it's about the CNC, and now I'm going to talk about some like life things or some non-printer things as well. But I don't know. I feel like it's better to fill people in than to leave them to no updates for 3 weeks like I might have done. But it's okay. Anyway, external updates. Back in class. Doing good. Getting things done. So just working around the schedule, you know. I also am a chronic pain patient, which I don't want to divulge too much into, but it just means that things tend to go a little slower for me than like most people. And so I've been working a lot this past month. I actually took almost a week off because I was a little burnt out on getting things done. So that's part of the reason why this video is so delayed. But I am back on things and just like slow and steady, you know. Slow and steady wins the race. We will get there. If any of you want to help out with video editing or design or input on just how the printer runs, I'm completely open to talk anytime. It's easier for me if I don't the less things I have to work through, the faster I can get these kits out, which partially reflects on that statement I had earlier about excited to have help with the beta kits. Just I feel like it will end up being mutually beneficial for everyone who gets the kit, and everyone will help each other out, foster a community sort of thing. That's at least how I hope things will go. But yeah, I'm gonna toss this in the video real quick and then it'll be posted. Thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe if you want. It'll just keep you updated on posts, and send a like if you like the project. Will probably help this video reach more people, which is pretty cool.